Okay, welcome back to You Can Draw. Now, it's important when you're working with a character to see if this is going to be the final product or the final character that you're going to draw. And that comes with variation. You're gonna do some variation drawing and see, what he looks best. Because you're not going to just draw one character and be like, oh, that's the character we're going to go with. So I think I'm going to put this side by side. And so you can see this character. And I'll do variation of this character. I'm going to turn this real quick over here. So we can see our variation. Now I could just draw him here, but I'm going to just move him slightly like that. And you can see him in a variation form. Again, starting with the circle, moving that wrist. I'm going to split that. I always split, no matter what, if I start with a circle or a square or any sort of thing like that. Now let's say this time we want to maybe give him a circle or an oval nose. Anytime I'm drawing like a circle, I kind of fill it in. Like if this is going to be a black nose or a blue nose or a purple nose or whatever type of nose, I kind of fill it in, because if you fill that in, go over with like a marker or anything, a darker color, and that's going to work out nicely. So let's say the eyes are going to be now oval. Let's basically go with ovals this time. And there's our oval. Again, another oval. So I have oval here, oval there, and notice again I'm starting in the middle. Let's have this come down again. Let's have his sort of mouth come up on either side, sort of a different look, and then maybe this kind of comes up like that. Again, kind of sticking with the oval, like if this was our oval right here. Again, with the blue, you can kind of see where the lines are. That's why the blue is nice as well. So we're just doing ovals. Again, I'm just making this up as I go. If you're following along, yours does not have to look anything like this. Let's say this time he just has like a tooth over here. So like a square, kind of rounded tooth. And then maybe this is all filled in, like you don't see his tongue. So already you're seeing, like I'm basing it off of this character over here. He's completely different. He could be his cousin of or relative or something like that. And then maybe this kind of comes down again, but it gets kind of wider at the bottom. And then maybe he has some sort of like little beard or something going on here. It's kind of pointy. And I'll fill that in. You can add lines to that if you want. Some detail there. Thicker lines. Okay. Maybe he has sort of the same like top going on where for the head kind of wraps around. But maybe his ears are more pointy. Or are pointy. So there's where our triangle comes in. So we're just putting these shapes in different areas. You notice that this one over here, we had our triangle for the nose. He's more round. This guy is round too, but we have some points going on that makes him more, maybe he's a bad character, maybe he's not a good character. And you kind of see just from making points on this that the character is starting to look more menacing because of the points that I'm using. I'm using more points. If you look at any sort of animation out there, notice that all the bad guys are they kind of have points to them. I mean, this could be a good guy with points, but it's easier to betray a good guy when he's got rounded features. So there is a variation of that character. Still using, now let's make him more, I guess, let's come down here and do another variation of him. Again, maybe he's going to have a pointy nose this time. It's going to be a triangle. Notice how every time I start drawing, I go right to the middle, and that's where I start with the nose. It's always easy to kind of branch off of the nose when you're drawing. Maybe this time he just has two circles like this for eyes. Or it's like that, and then it's kind of like that. I don't know. Kind of whatever you want to make. This will be kind of like maybe a sophisticated, but maybe he's kind of angry. So you have this kind of mountain or line like that. And then his face will just be this will sort of wrap around like that. Kind of like a heart, but he's definitely not happy. And when you have like, you can add like these little lines too, because when you form your smile, you kind of have lines going on, so that kind of makes it a little bit more professional when you're sketching. And then I'll kind of wrap this around up top, and then maybe up top this is all darken in. So again, variation of this character. We have that line here, but this kind of makes him a different character. I'll go back to the circles for his ears, but maybe it's like dark on the outside like so. I want you to just kind of, when you have the blue pencil in your hand, you can kind of make all kinds of lines and form who you want to form, whatever's sort of in your mind. You can kind of outline this a little bit more if you want. Let's do one more variation. Not necessarily is this a mean guy. This one looks a little bit more menacing, but you can see all the characters that we're designing. This kind of looks like Lotso from Toy Story a little bit, the bear. A little bit. You're going to see some when you're drawing things is going to look like different characters from different movies and stuff, and that's okay. Just as long as you don't pass them off as your own if it looks exactly like that person. So there's another variation. Let's do one more up here. This is sort of our variation, and split that. So let's do like maybe a square nose. I don't really notice a square nose all that. You don't see square noses all that much, but maybe it's kind of rounded on the edge. So from there, let's do the eyes again. I'm trying to think what kind of, even if you went with the same sort of eyes, some little eyes in the middle. Let's make, let's do like a big smile. So I have a line up here that's going to come down, go to the other side. Notice how everything's kind of in proportion. It's kind of the same on each side. So you really only have to draw one side and then kind of replicate it on the other side. The only difference was this tooth that we added over here was different, and then maybe this is slightly different there. So we have, this is like kind of like a smiley face with a square for this. It's kind of looking like the baby from Incredibles, but not quite. Let's make this mouth kind of come all the way down. You notice just from changing our shapes and stuff, we're making different characters. Just how everything is, this kind of looking like a person a little bit, and then maybe this, he has like a big old smile. So like a line that goes through the middle. There, my pencil is dying on me. We will give like some sort of ears, like I've kind of kept the ears the same, but maybe we'll go with like a square ear, like a rounded square ear. And we'll bring this all the way up and over. Sort of like a rounded square. Where the nose was kind of rounded, and then we'll have that out there. So you see, we have our variations of this character over here. I didn't draw the whole body. You can play around with the body with variations if you want. But I think this is kind of cool how we added some sort of variations. But hopefully from like just doing some variation drawing, you will break out a piece of paper, start doing some variations. They look all right, you know, for sketches. They don't look bad, you know, if you wanted to then go and color them. But you see all of our different shapes. We got our square here, oval, oval, squares up here, just kind of like round cheeks going on. This would be like a circle, just a line, and then like a half circle or like a U. We have our circle, our triangle here, oval, square, triangles. So you start seeing the same sort of shapes, but in different places on these characters that kind of makes it a different character. And depending on what you shade in, you know, you can go into these and add to it if you want. Kind of finish them up if you wanted to, make that line more solid. I think my favorite is probably him, and that's just from thinking of, you know, what's in your mind. What is in your mind? Let's get that on paper. And that's it for variation of our character over here. And I will see you guys on the next video.